Welcome to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse, and today is Friday, September 10th, 2021. Don't forget, Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling. You can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com. Hey, just a reminder, if you like the show, hit that share button right now and share it with someone who will benefit or someone you love. Hit that like button and let me know you're enjoying the show. Hey, look, leave comments, get involved. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. All right, let's get into it. On today's show, we're going to be discussing the market update. We're going to be talking about Biden's mask mandate, or actually the vaccine mandate. We're going to talk about how the fact that Epic Games took a nice bite out of Apple. Let's talk about interest rate hike expected. DoorDash and Uber are suing New York City. There's actually a paint shortage, and I want to talk a little bit about my tribute to 9/11 and 20 years later. Let's get into it. Oh, boy. So it was a really, really ugly day today. In fact, the Dow dropped about 271 points today, but at the beginning of the day, it was up 200 points. Really a tough week. You know, the Dow is down probably about 700 points for the week since Monday. The S&P is probably down about 80 points since Monday, and of course the NASDAQ probably down about 250 points. This is where we have to start worrying a bit, because when the market moves sideways like this, it creates confusion and fear. Both of these create sell-offs, and the only good news in a sell-off is buying opportunities. If you happen to have cash put aside, you may be happy, but if you're all in like me, currently at this moment, you just got to remember that, look, it'll come back, and you'll come back the other end in an uptick. So just be careful and just relax, just wait. It'll probably come back, and you'll probably be okay. But if you have some cash, you are going to be very lucky. All right, so in case you have been sleeping for the last 24 hours, you might not know that Biden has mandated vaccines for everyone. That's right, comrades. You obey or you get fired. That's the new mandate by Supreme Leader Biden. Please don't call him president. Presidents are for republics and not dictatorships. So the Supreme Leader has firmly stated that if you're an employer with 100 or more employees, you must mandate that your employees get vaccinated, because you are an employer and you must mandate this. That means that you are not capable of making your own decisions. The government has to decide for you. All right. Despite having an unprecedented and successful vaccination program, despite the fact that for almost 5 months, free vaccines have been available to 80,000 different locations, and we still have 80 million Americans who have failed to get the shot, said the Supreme Leader, who was clearly frustrated with the nation's slow progress on vaccines. I don't even know where to begin with this. I mean, all you need to do is just go up and down Facebook, and you'll clearly see everyone's reaction to this. This requirement will impact over 80 million workers in private sector businesses with 100 or plus employees, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration said in a statement. The agency, which falls under the Labor Department, is developing an emergency rule requiring those employees to provide paid time off for the vaccinations. Ready? Paid time off for the vaccinations for those who to recover from side effects from the shots. Yes, side effects from the shots. Wow. By the way, I've noticed that everyone who did not get the vaccine did not have a side effect from not getting the vaccine. In fact, there are side effects, and by the way, the side effects can be anything from an annoying headache to death. Now look, statistically speaking, it probably won't be death, but then again, statistically speaking, death from COVID is also rare. My problem, and I got to be honest with you, my problem isn't the vaccine. My problem is with the mandatory enforcement to make you and I get the vaccine. It's not fair. It's not right. You should be able to do it. Look, all right. So this is a financial show, and I want to talk about how this is going to affect the world and finances. Actually, believe it or not, it won't. Now I realize the Dow dropped today, but it didn't drop because of this. It dropped because it dropped. It's just time for it to drop. So basically, there are two kinds of companies out there. There's the company who's already mandated vaccines, such as airlines and hospitals, etc. They've already mandated vaccines, and they're already saying, hey, we're making this happen anyway, and you're going to be fired, or like in I think it was United Airlines, who said that they're going to charge extra for health insurance, $200 a month extra, $200 a pay period extra, whatever it is. That's going to be, they're already mandating it. Then there's the other people, the other companies are saying, hey, F you and your vaccine. We're not going to make our employees have the vaccine. Honestly, these are the same. There's nothing's changing here. It's going to be the same. I understand there might be a $14,000 fine if you don't enforce this. I'd like to see them enforce that fine, although, to be honest with you, what I'm seeing lately in America wouldn't surprise me. All right. By the way, just so you know, this is one of the reasons why I don't fly anymore. The Transportation Security Administration also planned to double fines for travelers who refuse to follow the federal mask mandate for air travel. So this was said by an official from the Supreme Leader's office. Fines will soon start at $500 and go up to $3,000 for repeat offenders. Me, I'd definitely be put in jail. They wouldn't find me. They would put me in jail. They would take me off that plane in handcuffs because I would freak out if I had to wear a mask for 5 hours to go to California. All right, let's talk really quick about how Epic Games takes a bite out of Apple. A few weeks ago, we discussed the fact that Epic Games was suing Apple. In this suit, Apple was being sued because Epic Games and others wanted to be able to sell products and services from within their app without being forced to pay Apple a percentage by making consumers buy the product through the App Store. So basically what they were doing was they would put links in their app and they would say, hey, go buy this product too. And Apple said, no, you can't do that. We want that to go through the Apple Store because your app is on our phone. And we want to make money off it, and that's the only way to do it. So basically what happened was Apple's lucrative App Store business received a major blow Friday thanks to a federal judge decision in the company's legal battle with Epic Games. They basically lost. Today's ruling isn't a win for developers or consumers. Tim Sweeney, CEO of Epic Games, tweeting, Epic is fighting for fair competition among in-app payment methods and app stores for 1 billion consumers. By the way, this is a really good move for consumers, but obviously not such a great thing for Apple. What do you think is going to happen? Apple stock actually, as you saw, Apple stock fell today about 3.5 points. Actually, I think it fell about 4 points by the end of the day. I personally think this is creating a buy moment for the stock, especially with earnings coming up and the new iPhone being released. And I happen to be a buyer right now below 50. If you remember, I actually said this yesterday. I believe it's a buyer below 50, so below 150. So if you want to, go in, jump in and buy it. All right, real quick, we're going to take a commercial and we will be right back.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from 2 Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
Well, welcome back to Money Chat Now. Right now, you can't see me. I'm invisible. I'm invisible just like our Congress and our Senate. Oh, here we are. I'm back. Okay. All right. So I want you guys to understand that you're going to have to expect an interest rate hike. Federal Reserve officials will seek to forge an agreement at their upcoming meeting to begin scaling back their easy money policies in November. Many of them said in recent interviews and public statements that they could begin reducing or tapering their $120 billion in monthly purchases of treasuries and mortgage-backed securities this year. While they're unlikely to do so at their meeting in September 21st, Fed Chairman Powell could use that gathering to signal that they are likely to start the process following the session November 2nd and 3rd. I've been saying this for years. I absolutely think they should raise interest rates. Interest rates are too low. I know you think that's counterintuitive, but it is really bad for the economy that interest rates are this low because, of course, we have inflation, as you know, and we also have no other way of battling something else that comes bad. We won't be able to go we'll be able to drop interest rates if something else happens. The central bank last December said it will continue the current pace of bond buying until officials concluded it has achieved substantial further progress toward their goals of 2% average inflation and robust employment. This train is out of control right now. It's totally out of control. There's no way they're gonna be able to keep this inflation down below 2%, at least for a while. And look, employment is obviously getting better, but the best way to do that is to stop giving people free money. The Consumer Price Index rose 5.3% in July. The Labor Department is set to release August inflation figures for that index next week. It's going to be bad, but it's going to be good. So basically, we're going to see that inflation figures are going to show bad numbers, but they're going to show good numbers because I'm sure it's going to start to slow down. They're just going to still be reasonably high. Now, if there's a slight slowdown, the stock market may react positive from this, so watch for this. Let's talk a little bit about DoorDash and Uber, and also Grubhub suing New York City. So these guys are suing New York City over a law that permanently capping the amount commissions the apps can charge restaurants to use their service. The latest move in a growing clash between the platforms and local regulators. Basically, the three largest food delivery companies filed suit in federal court in New York late Thursday, contending that the cap fee is harmful and constitute government overreach. It constitutes government overreach. Well, in this current climate and in 2021, there is no such thing as government overreach. There's government, I want to do whatever the heck I want. And that's basically what's happening here. The apps can charge restaurants commissions as high as 30% per order. So this is normal. New York City temporarily capped what apps could charge restaurants during the pandemic. So they're basically saying that they didn't want to go into usury, which, all right, maybe. But hey, 30% per order is not that big of a deal. And if you're at home and you want to order food and you want to pay the 30%, you pay the 30%. You can always pick it up yourself, right? So New York City capped it, and basically they capped it. They capped it to between 23. The maximum was 23%, or 15% for delivery, 5% for listing on apps, and 3% for credit card processing fees. That means Grubhub, which also relies on restaurants fulfilling deliveries received on its app, will be limited to 8% commission on these orders. Many of these caps expired as COVID-19 cases loosened last year or earlier this year, but some lawmakers have sought to extend them, given complaints about charges overall. So basically, you have this app and you're complaining about it being too expensive. It's convenience, folks. You want convenience, you pay for convenience. After what I see with government overreach, I believe that they will lose this fight instead of a dangerous precedent allowing profit caps in all businesses one day. So basically what I'm saying is, because of this, they're going to say, hey, you're going to cap all businesses, and that's going to affect you, it's going to affect it's going to be a problem. I want to mention also that Uber's stock is hovering around 40, and I believe it's a great play at this price. So I'm going to say let's go for Uber stock. It's definitely a play. All right, let's get into what's going on here with paint shortages. So Home Depot, yeah, right. Home improvement is getting even more aggravating as a lack of supplies and higher prices are making life more difficult for do-it-yourselfers. A confluence of factors, from unusual freeze in Texas to surging demand on ongoing supply chain issues, have created a paint shortage and a price surge. Sherwin-Williams has been candid in investor calls, and it foresees additional price actions to cope with rising costs. Producer prices for paint and coating manufacturers rose 10% in August from a year ago, the biggest annual jump since 2009. The pandemic spurred a wave of new interest in projects around the house, from sprucing up the garden to adding swimming pools to throwing on a fresh coat of paint. These projects have retailers facing a torrent of demand for goods. If you remember, we saw other building materials skyrocket during this time, and now it's going to be paint. The recent hurricane and floods will exacerbate this issue, and I believe it will cause further price pain. Now listen, Home Depot and Lowe's will definitely benefit from this increase, at least in the short run. So these are going to be plays for you. You want to play Home Depot and you want to play Lowe's because most likely these guys are going to benefit from this. Now, I wouldn't stay in long though. I mean, it may be a good call, it may be a covered call play, or it may be a short-term stock play if you are players and all of that. All right, let's take a quick break, and then I want to come back and I want to talk a little bit about what's happening in the world and 9/11.
Hey, if you were listening to Investor Schooling Live today, I'm Phil Falcone, and I made the decision today on air that I'm going to be giving away this car. You want to take a look at it? Let's do it. How would you like to pop your top without ever getting out of the car? Huh? It's pretty cool. You can do it at a red light. You can do it when you see it rainy. You can actually even do it when you're driving, as long as you don't go maybe faster than 10 miles an hour. So I am giving away this car. Why? Is it because I'm crazy? Is it because I'm rich? Is it because of both? Take your pick. I don't care. Let me tell you about the car. We're going to have a contest. We're looking for real estate investors to go to our website and give us a real estate tip. And you can have people that you know vote on the site about which real estate tip is the most quality, most valuable to them. So let's just say that our contest is going to be looking for quality real estate tips and for votes. So you need to get your friends, your family, people who care about you, and real estate investors who are willing to go on the site and vote for it. And I will give you this car.
Did you guys enter that contest yet? Win Phil's car. Like I said, I'm tired of seeing it outside. It's time for you guys to win it. All right, so welcome back. I'm Larry Steinhouse. This is Money Chat Now. We talked a little bit about how the fact that the Dow is down 271 points from being up about 200 points today. It's almost a 500-point swing. Ugh, that's terrible when that happens. We talked about the fact that the Supreme Leader has mandated vaccines for everyone. So you and I, we have to get the vaccine if you don't already have it. I might have it. I'm not telling. We also talked about the fact that Epic Games took a bite out of Apple today, and Apple possibly will no longer be allowed to charge in-app purchases. They'll be no longer allowed to charge a commission on in-app purchases. Speaking of commission, we also talked about DoorDash and Uber trying to not allow a cap, or actually trying to fight New York City's cap on their services. All right, I'm going to get a little somber here, and let's talk. Tomorrow is 9/11, and it's the anniversary. And look, honestly, it's sad and somber. It's a sad and somber remembrance for many. I have a question for you, and I want you to think about this for a minute. Do you remember where you were or what you were doing on 9/11? I remember waking up in the morning, going to my office. I owned a computer consulting company at the time. I was going on my way to the office, and I heard about a plane hitting a building. There wasn't a lot of information on the radio at the moment. I got back in, I saw it online, and we heard that a plane hit the World Trade Center. Now, at the time, nobody knew what it was. They were, it was terrible. We all knew it was a terrible thing, but we didn't know what it was. It took us another 15 minutes to understand what it was when the second plane hit. I also remember that day and the days after. It was sad and it was peaceful at the same time. The sky was absolutely devoid of planes except for the occasional military or fighter plane. The stock market was also closed for a week, and people gathered in prayer and disbelief. At the same time, people came from all over to lend helping hands or to give a shoulder to cry on. It didn't matter what your color or your race or your gender. What mattered is that we would grow stronger from this and survive it. For a few years it happened, but we have forgotten. We have forgotten the sorrow and the destruction. We have forgotten the idea of camaraderie. We have forgotten that we are all in this together. We have forgotten what America stands for. A perfect quote today from the Wall Street Journal said this: "It will happen again. Though few of us wanted to admit it, the 9/11 terrorist attacks are destined to be repeated, probably amplified at one time. There is no scale to measure such events. There is no scale to measure the suffering that follows these events. We cannot change history or prevent the inevitable sequels, but we can remind ourselves that there will always be a morning after, when the families of those who perished and the shaken survivors begin to pick themselves up and look at the future as a means of rebuffing those who seek to harm us. Let's take a moment of silence for those who perished 20 years ago and for the surviving families who missed their fallen heroes and their innocent kith and kin.